What is up, friends? It is your friend Complexive, and I'm very, very excited to be here with you today doing a session breakdown of the coolest remix I have ever gotten to do to date. It is called Mood For You by Lalah Hathaway. So let's get right into it. Before we get into it though, if you also love tasty chords, link in the description. Might be the coolest investment you make all year. Let's get right into it. Let me show you a little snippet of her original mix.
Put your hands on me. I like where it's going. What you wanna see, I'm okay with showing.
So dreamy R&B Lalah Hathaway style vocals that we all know and love. First thing I did was literally just pitch it up a half step. I knew I wanted to hype it up just a little bit more. So here's what I have for an intro.
Don't make me wait. Put your hands on me.
I didn't really know what I was gonna do for an intro for the song until I heard this section of her original.
Don't make me wait.
It ain't never too much like Vandroom. Somehow
It's right before we get into MC Lyte's verse. We took this acapella, chopped it up. There's a whole bunch of like tape stop effect and reverb and delays and stuff like that. Some shifter. Satin is going to be doing that tape stop kind of warbly effect, which I love. We got some TikToks right here. Just some reverse stuff. Let's check out these drums. Clean fill right into it. And that brings us right into the first verse. I'm gonna turn off the vocals and just play the instrumental right here. So the bass sound, that's like the main bass throughout pretty much the entire track. I've used this a ton of times. It's a great bass. Okay, so this is literally just the free contact. It comes with the free contact library, just the Scarby Rickenbacker bass. And this is the double date preset. It's got some stereo action kind of going on, as you can tell here by that white area. Just really great picked palm muted bass. Next we make it right here to the verse chords. My favorite thing ever. These chords are all coming from, if I'm not mistaken, coming from Hive. Still one of my favorite synths ever. It's just got really, really smooth polybrass type sounds in it. Here's an EP from Hive as well. And then this jazz layer. All together, we have just this really cool chord stack. I believe this lead, this lead is even from Hive as well. So good. Let's see what else we got going on here. This flute sound, it's the Celestial preset from Nasco. I think I've shouted out this preset before. Super good sounding flute sound, but I played this little line, added a bunch of delay and reverb, and then I sampled it. And that just kind of rings throughout the entire track. Just a little funky flute moment. Man, flutes are underrated in my opinion. Let's talk about these vocal chops. What I've got going on here, if I turn her vocals back on,
Let me in on your fantasy.
which are so good, by the way.
Tell me what you're thinking.
So there's that natural spacing in her phrasing that I just wanted to fill with kind of the last words she said, and it worked really well. In this case, I could just kind of repeat and chop the word thinking. So on these chops, we've got some manipulator action going on, messing with the formant. I think that's automated to move up and down. We have this really cool tape stop effect, which again is coming from Satin, which in my opinion is one of the best tape emulation plugins I've ever used. Putting it in delay mode, keeping the mix all the way up and not touching really anything but one of these distance sliders is equivalent almost to just touching the tape on a reel-to-reel tape machine. So if you listen to this, and then that going right into this flute sound, it makes it sound like it's stopping and morphing into that flute. Let's talk about the drums real quick. So I've got a kick. We've got this clap sample right here. Literally just a kick and a clap sample. I didn't even EQ that. That's crazy. Main hat. I've chopped this hat loop up from Oliver so many times. I chop it up and just use the hi-hats individually. What do we have here? These are Lalah's percussions. I think I chopped and screwed them with a whole bunch of stuff. We got like this shaper box on here. Some auto pan. Yeah, another little bongo loop. We've got this thing, just a little transition. Which has a weird amount of low end for some reason. Oh, I didn't even EQ it out. We've got this sine note. I think I just made that an operator.
Tell me what you're thinking.
So we're gonna move on to the next section. This is what I used as like the build, pre-chorus kind of thing. Okay, so good. I love her vocals in this section. Really dreamy. I tried to dreamy them up just a little bit more, adding a little extra reverb and delay and things like that. But if we turn those off for a second and just listen to what's going on musically. We've got just a few simple elements, really. Some transitions. Got this build. So we'll start there with the drums. Just a snap with some reverb. Yeah, more transitional sounds. Let's check out this build real quick. Let's see what it even is. I think it's just some snares, automating the gain up for all of them, and then a kick being layered with it towards the very end. And then one big hit right there. So the sub, this is a sub I made in Operator. It's just a pretty fat sub. So the only thing I tried to do with this, aside from play the bass notes, was she sings this run like right here. So I just played what she sang there. Adds like a fun little effect. Okay, chords. We've got the same chord stack that we used in the verse. Listen to this chord right here, though. And the only reason I say that is because I have these stabs down here, right? That sounds terrible. But you add that in with these chords right here. It works. And let me show you these stabs. This is something I made in the OG Serum. It's really simple because when I turn all of these effects off, It's just so lifeless. But you turn these effects on, which is literally some disperser. We've got some OTT, and then kind of crushing it with all the ratio buttons down kind of trick with the CLA 76. Just a slight bit of saturation with the black box, and then just some delay at the very end. And then this bell motif, that's from Keyscape. Yeah, this is the music box preset from the dulcitone. Sounds so good. One of my favorite bell sounds for sure. Then from there, you know, we've got just some reverse effects. Let's move on to the chorus. When I'm writing a song, the first thing I will do is determine what the chorus is and how can I make that as huge and catchy and awesome as possible. And then I just strip it back for everything else. So that's the chorus. The way Lalah was singing this part here was just really catchy and like lended itself nicely to make this like choppy, funky kind of stuff going on in the background. How there's those spaces there, that's where I filled those with these chops here. So So these chops, similar to the chops in the verse, of course, we've got some manipulator messing with the formant of her vocals. Typically for stuff like this, I will use the decapitator, turn it on punish mode, you know, adjust to taste. So that's that. Let's turn off the vocals for a second and listen to what's going on musically. So we're going to start with the drums. The only thing that's different here, drum-wise, is the snare. Same clap, layered. We've got the main hat, which is actually the exact same thing as the verse, for sure. And then in the second half, to just kind of add some more excitement, we've got this. It's just like another kind of hat loop or something. This is something I've started doing. It's something I picked up from Zed. So check this out. So we have the chord hits, right? Like these aren't that bright. So I want to keep that chill kind of vibe with these chords, but I don't want them to be super overpowering. So what you can do is just have a layer. I use a crash cymbal. And I'm boosting way above the frequency that we can even hear. And I think I'm cutting on the master at like 16.1 anyways. But like this ramp here is just boosting some frequencies of this crash cymbal that really enhance those chords. So if I were to play that crash with the chord stack, and your brain just interprets that as one sound, right? Just a cool little trick I thought I would share. Let's look at this bass. I've got a stack of like 3 different basses here. Same Rickenbacker bass. Now what I'm doing is I'm cutting the lows out of it. We're taking care of that frequency range with this sub here. And this is a trillion patch that I edited to have kind of this 5th harmonic above it, which would be 7 semitones above wherever this fundamental is. Really thickens it up. You can see it right there. And then we've got this top layer. This is a serum patch. Yeah, pretty simple saw sound. A few effects on it though. Altogether, we've got this really thick and natural, but also resonant sounding sub stack. So So we talked about the chords a little bit. I just want to break them down here. We've got this Toy Rocket Dreams preset from, once again, Hive. And then what I'm doing is there's the built-in reverb effect in Hive right here. And then I'm taking the mix knob and just kind of automating it up after each chord hit. We've got the mango sound, really chill sounding chords. This saw sound from Serum. And then we've got some guitar that I played. Yeah, altogether, I love the way these chords sound. Okay, string hits. Real important to get that funky kind of disco-y vibe. These are coming from a Kontakt library that I have, Session Strings 2. And then, yeah, right here, we're just also mirroring her vocal chops right here. I layered it with this string sample. So together, we have this really thick sounding string. And then lastly, we just have this ARP. This is like a super saw pluck from Hive 2. I want to say pretty much the exact same kind of concept as the stabs over here. We're just automating the cutoff on this one. Okay, so that brings us to the second verse, which is very, very similar to the first one.
Show you what I feel. Ooh, don't get me started. Yeah. Where's the key to the
We have that little funky moment there.
Where's the key to the door that reveals?
And then this is my favorite part right here.
Exactly where your heart is. Ooh, let me.
So from a music theory perspective, I knew I wanted to do some chromatic kind of sounding chord changes right here. I don't know what the chords are. If any of you music theory nerds out there want to like dissect this and, you know, let us know in the comments what's going on here, feel free. Sounds super good. And then this toy rocket sound. Walking up in half steps to get us that chromatic kind of effect. Really fun moment there, and it works so nicely with this run that Lalah does.
Ooh, let me.
Good lord.
Ooh, let me in on your fantasy.
So good.
Tell me what you're thinking. We ain't gotta go, no, nowhere, no. Making it up as we go. No plan, let it flow.
Now with this build up, we've got pretty much the same thing as the first one, except some extra sauce from Lalah. That's kind of the theme here. I really wanted to let her vocals shine throughout the whole track and just paint a different kind of background behind them. So we're back here to the final chorus, adhering to, you know, that classic pop structure. We've got a double chorus at the very end. And the way that I achieved that was I took another section of one of her verses.
I'm on my way, I took the last flight. I need you to be ready. Don't make me wait.
So it's the same section that I used as the intro.
Don't make me wait. Don't make me wait.
That's such a sick layer, dude. Who thinks of doing that? Lalah does, apparently.
Don't make me wait.
Oh, yeah. I had to start the song with that. It's just so good. And then, so we put the TikToks back in there.
Don't make me wait.
And then we've got the ARP here that I showed you before, just like full-fledged arpeggiating. I've used this sample in so many songs. I made it a long time ago. It's just like a side-chained, pitchy string sound. And then here at this very end section, kind of like how we treated the second half of the first chorus, all the bells and whistles and the drums. Let me play the last chorus for you. We end the song with this little tape stop effect. One thing I figured out with Ableton's Echo is that if you put it in time mode and then just have the dry wet all the way up, you're able to get this kind of effect. This song was an absolute blast to remix. I think I did absolutely nothing but work on this song for like 3 days straight. Now it's out, and I hope you enjoy the tune. Get yourself an I Love Tasty Chords hat if you really love tasty chords, and I will catch you in the next one.